Well guys, on this AIC 8.3, it's the gear pump is, you know, I wasn't getting no air bubbles out of that, but you know what it's doing now. I'll show you what it's doing. I'll turn the key on. It's sat for 2 days, and I came in and it started and it died. Then I cycled the key and let it prime, and it started up and it stayed running, but it still shouldn't do that. So that tells you right there it's leaking. And as you'll see, we'll let this prime up. This sucker's leaking somewhere. It must be a weep hole on the bottom of that gear pump. It's wet. You can see it's wet right here. Wonder if I just start it and let it run. But there was fuel right here sitting on top of that air compressor. Let's fire it up and see what it does here. See there? It's still. Let's see here. See, it's leaking right there. See that fuel leaking down there? Not leaking from a fitting, is it? No, there's no way. It's not wet down there anywhere. So we gotta get that pump out of there. I wonder why it wasn't leaking. Wonder why the dirty bastard wouldn't leak with it when it was hooked up to the OEM pump. And I wonder why it wouldn't leak when Ed put a 15-pound pressure on it. Why did it start leaking now? That's what's got me puzzled. Well, let's pull this gear pump off of here. Alrighty. Let's put you guys right around in there. We gotta get the hose off here. We need to get the actuator. I don't know. We just gotta get the 2 hoses off, basically. Should I pull this one off anyway and get it out of my way? I probably should. Be easier. Good grief. Yeah. Some guy made a comment, well, if those guys build a proper hood, that you can't do that and build a hood on one of these that tilts over. The whole purpose of building these solid is the counterweight. The counterweight's built into the, this is all like heavy steel on these. That's the reason they're built like this, is a counterweight for when you're picking up a heavy load with that mast. Come on, I hate these damn. Quick connect. There's nothing quick about it. Get this hose off of here. Let's see. Can't get it off. Jesus. That is no fun, dude. No fun at all. I'm gonna get the actuator unplugged. Okay. And then pull this hose that I got jerry rigged on there, and I mean it's tight too. I know it wasn't leaking any air caused it, because it's too small a hose to go on there really, and I had to strain my milk to get it on there. Okay, got that. And we got this other hose that's on there in the way, but I think I gotta pull that fitting off so I can get my fingers on that. So I gotta pull that other banjo off of there to get that off of there. Or not banjo, the fitting. Must be a weep hole or something there on that pump. I'm just really curious to look at that. And there shouldn't be any fuel leaking there because that's the drive-in. I'm pretty certain there's going to be a seal there. I just dropped that damn fitting down in there somewhere. I guess there it is. I see it. I'll have to get a magnet and get that out of there. Huh. I'm having trouble here, guys, getting this fitting to pop loose. Okay, 10 millimeter and pull those out of there, maybe, huh? I'm trying to get something light in there somewhere for you, but kind of no matter what you do here on this, you're either covering it up with your hand or something. That bolt is not much fun. Oh, you dirty son of a gun. Well, and feel it again. Hang on. And all the bolts are tight and all that. The owner just called and I told him, well, I don't really think there should be any fuel. I said there's got to be a weep hole down there it's leaking out of. Okay, let's get a shorter ratchet on there, something that'll work a little bit better. Man, come on, you stubborn SOB. Being a hard ass. That's one of those that you get a half a turn on it by finger, and then a half turn it binds up again. One of those. Okay, you miserable bastard. I'm actually wondering if we had kind of a combination of problems, you know, with the gear pump and that loose fitting down there on that suction side of that pump. Okay. Darn it. I was trying to get a different handle on that and I dropped the damn thing. That's what I thought. There shouldn't be no fuel there anyway. That's oil, because that's the drive into the pump. Yeah, there shouldn't be no fuel down here on that end anyhow. Shouldn't be no fuel on there anyway. That means this seal right here, it's sucking air through the seal. And then is there a weep hole? Yeah, there's the weep hole. Yeah. It's sucking air through that weep hole is what it's doing. See the weep hole right here in the bottom of that pump? Let me see if I can shine my light down in there. That had to be where that fuel was coming from. That pump was sitting in there just like that. Well, yeah. And then it was sitting in there mounted just like this at an angle. So of course that fuel is going to run right down that weep hole and drip down right where I was seeing it drip. Yep. We know we need a gear pump. So I got a gear pump ordered, and what we found interesting is that's a recon number. That 4088866 is a recon number. And Martin bought this brand new, and Ed puts brand new engines in these when he builds them. And he said, well, somebody's changed that out at one of these shops. He said that ought to be new. That he says we've never changed any of that, so it doesn't make a lot of sense right now. We're trying to figure out exactly what's going on with that. But anyways, alrighty, so I got a gear pump ordered for this, and we'll hook everything back up and test her again. Well guys, got the Dodge I think done. 9 weeks. Let's go drive it. Man, I kept getting a number 8 number 8 coil pack ionization code. Well, those guys had that apart, and so now I remember when we first looked at it, that code was in there, and I remember I messed with the plug. Anyway, I kept getting this number 8, my SD card was full, coil pack ionization code, and it had that before, and I remember I wiggled the plug in when we first started diagnosing it, and we got rid of that code after wiggling the plug around on it, and I forgot about it because it's been so damn long. But anyway, AutoZone had, I looked it up and it said it was in stock. They had the pigtail. So I put another end on it and plugged it back in the coil, and she ran smooth as the top. I warmed it up and I dumped the oil. And all the thing I could find for oil is I had to use full synthetic 5W20. It was the only thing on the shelf. Couldn't find anything in town. And a Fram oil filter. It's all, nobody had a, I'm not really a big fan of Fram oil filters, but it's all I could get. So, got it back, wired that in. It's blowing like a son of a gun today, man. Just dirt blowing everywhere, and it's just terrible. See if it blows up on us. I'm not the Hemi expert. This is the farthest I've ever had a Hemi apart. I dumped the old oil out, and I noticed a little glitter in it, and I wasn't really happy looking at that. I ran those up and down, the bottom dead, top dead center, you know, and the bores looked okay. Hope we're not going to have a problem. It is blowing, man. Look at the dirt. Look at the dirt. Look at the trees blowing here. Hopefully I got a roof left on the shop. I need to hurry up. Hopefully this thing don't break down on the test drive, because I got to meet Tom back there at the shop, because we're going to unload the short block for the PACCAR pile of shit. I was kind of want to get into a spot where I could kind of get a little bit of power to it. Running okay there. I wouldn't think anything had come apart on me. Everything's torqued exactly the way it's supposed to be. Man, look at the dirt blowing across the road here. Holy cow. like it's so quiet, but I can't hear nothing but wind around me. It's blowing so hard. Wow, look at this. I'm used to it. It's pretty common here for this to be doing this time of year. Used to not do that until these strawberry guys moved in here. The hay guys, you know, they don't work ground up like this. These strawberry guys can't ever leave the ground alone. They're always working the ground. These guys are putting water on their freshly planted field, trying to keep the dirt hold down so they don't blow away all the topsoil right off the top of the plants they just planted in the ground. It's not getting hot, no check engine light. Man, it's really whipping out here, this wind. Aired up the tires. They were all low, and the low pressure, the tire monitor was flashing. Light was on that, so I got that out. Got rid of the number 8 coil code. Man, it is whipping now. I'm telling you, look at the dirt blowing out there. Blowing this pickup all over the road. There's probably 25, 30 mile an hour winds, which ain't, I guess you guys down there in the south in the tornado country in the Midwest probably don't seem like it's, there's a big board laying right out in the middle of the frickin' road. Something's blowing out there. She'll see me drive by in this. This gal been waiting on this pickup forever. Headlights are not on automatic. We'll just turn them on since we're in the dirt. Nobody can see anything. It's like being in the fog. It's what we call land transfer. You're giving your ground to somebody else down the road. They probably ought to go slow because you can't see nothing. It's where you hit somebody head on. Why did the dash just go blank on this pickup? Oh, they got the indicator. Okay. Turn the lights on. If I turn the lights off, if I turn the lights on, the dash goes out and you can't see it. I got the indicator, the intensity, and that don't make any difference. Oh, what a piece of shit. What a pile of shit this thing is. Well, she hadn't scattered yet or seized up. We're doing 70 in the hurricane here. Probably blowing all the snow off the top of Mount Shasta. Look at that plastic stuff they've got on them fields out there, just blowing like crazy. Pretty wild. Yeah, I used to be in the strawberries. These guys here actually worked for this company right here for years. Used to be standing in the middle of it all day out there when we were planting. It's pretty common for it to be like this. Can't hardly keep a roof on a building around here. It'll blow the, if these guys ain't got their pivots, if their pivots aren't full of water and they're in the wrong spot, usually when you don't see those guys there, if they're not running that pivot, they got that pivot pointing east and west, and that wind's coming out of the south, and that'll blow that pivot right over. You got to get your pivot pointing north and south. The wind's all, 90% of the time around here is coming out of the south. All right, let's get on it here and see what she does, huh? I'm not even really mashing on it yet, but seems to be running okay. get back to the shop and just kind of look underneath it. I was running it here a couple nights ago, and I had the orange antifreeze. I poured straight water in it first, and then I dumped it, and then I had orange antifreeze, and you know, I mixed it 50-50 and got it running, and was sitting there at the hood. I still had the hood off, and I forgot to put that spring-loaded clamp on the upper radiator hose, and I was just sitting there. Luckily, I was standing in the right spot and didn't get me, and that damn hose blew off and just blew hot liquid everywhere. I was like, you moron, you forgot to put the clamp on. That's why you go test drive them. Even if you test drive them, sometimes you still don't catch something that you might have missed. And the problem with me is I'm always on 100 different projects, and I get scatterbrained trying to figure out where in the hell I left off. That's always a problem. That's what I like to see, is no check engine light, but it hasn't gone through its OBD2 cycle yet either. Its drive cycle. So, I mean, sometimes these guys are on it, especially emissions-related components, but I mean, if you got a hard fault, something that you've got a bad wire or something of that nature, something misfiring, something like that, it's gonna let you know. I mean, your check engine light's gonna come on pretty quick. It was definitely number 8 when I had that ionization code, which is kind of a weird, I've never even heard of that before I worked on this. And you know, I'm used to misfire codes, but I had that ionization code. I'm like, okay, I guess I need to look up, and I don't even know what that means. So I looked it up, and I thought, well, then I remembered when Trent was here, we were wiggling that wire, and then it would go away, and so I got a new end to put on it, and that took care of that. Good grief. Hope you don't like your paint job, because it's sandblasting it right now. That little road right there, that's where down there about 2 miles to the west there, that's where I grew up. My stomping ground, I guess you could say. Yeah, we'll get out down here, guys, and we'll make sure we've got no knocking or banging or nothing leaking. So far, so good. Pretty happy. Something's clunking around there in the bed. This thing kind of feels weird with the transmission. I'm not used to that. You know, it kind of feels like a CVT, you know, or something like that, like a constant variable transmission or something like that. When you get on it, it goes, but these guys are ripping in telephone or fiber optic here. Got a Komatsu D85E. Well, we'll park this right here in this bay that's in front of the Peterbilt. Well, I can't really get there, can I? Tom's coming with that short block, and I want to unload it and put it right in there. Well, let's see, what's she sound like?